Welcome everyone. I am Adeshawa Josh and it's time to take you through major headlines around the world. We'll start with the story where the United States has once again expressed its support for Ukraine in its fight against eternal aggression. Speaking during a joint press conference in Kiev with interim Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk, U.S. Vice President Joe Biden said Russia must stop talking and start acting to defuse the Ukraine crisis. Mr. Biden warned Russia that further provocative behavior would lead to greater isolation and urged Moscow to end its alleged support for pro-Russian militants in eastern Ukraine.
U.S. Vice President Joe Biden told Ukrainian presidential candidates and members of parliament that Washington is ready to help Ukraine's economy, but warned them that they must fight the cancer of endemic corruption. In Kiev to offer a symbolic show of U.S. support, Mr. Biden said the presidential election on May the 25th will be an opportunity to lay the groundwork for a more unified and prosperous country. Biden's visit to Ukraine follows the signing in Geneva last Thursday of a four-way peace deal to de-escalate tension in eastern Ukraine, where pro-Russian separatists have seized towns and key facilities. The Kiev leadership says the rebellions in the east are inspired and directed by Russia, one of the signatories of the Geneva Accord, which annexed Crimea in March. Meanwhile, with the flag of a self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic proudly in display, pro-Russian rebels remain in control of the eastern Ukrainian city of Sloviansk. The rebel-held city has emerged as one of the several cities and towns demanding autonomy and even independence from Kiev. On Monday, the city received its first visit from the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. The OSCE was there to meet with the city's separatist leader.
We discussed 4 issues. 1. Whether he and the groups he leads would comply with the provisions of the Geneva Statement. 2. The whereabouts and circumstances of detainees, including former Mayor Stepa. 3. The alleged maltreatment of the Roma minority in Slavyansk, and the shooting incident in the town of the 20th of April.
At a news conference, the leader and self-declared mayor said the OSCE meeting did not involve any serious talks.
Talks? I would
talks.
not say they were talks.
I would not say we had talks. We just met. We expressed our point of opinion on what's going on. We listened to their suggestions. Well, we decided that we will continue working. He also rejected an internationally brokered agreement in Geneva last week which calls for separatists to lay down their arms.
And it's still bad news coming out of South Korea, where the confirmed death toll from the ferry that capsized last week has reached 108. Rescuers searching for bodies have been able to take advantage of better weather today, but more than 190 passengers are still missing or presumed trapped inside the vessel. The ferry tipped over and sank within 2 hours, but it is not yet clear why. The crew has been criticized for allegedly failing to save passengers. 5 have been charged with not fulfilling their duty to evacuate passengers safely, and at least 6 other crew members are reported to have been detained.
Divers now recover bodies at a steady pace from the stricken seawall ferry off the southwestern coast of South Korea. 2 giant floats serve as markers of the sunken hull. Only 174 passengers were rescued after last Wednesday's fatal accident. Hundreds, mostly school children, are still missing and presumed dead. The death toll is continually updated. According to the South Korean Coast Guard, the rescue team has retrieved more bodies, so the death toll is now 108. The ferry turned over and sank within 2 hours, and it's not yet clear why. Divers have reached many of the cabins in the hull, although they are still trying to get into the restaurant where many of the passengers were believed to be trapped. Rescuers say they'll keep searching for now, but the cranes stand ready as the operation to bring the hull to the surface will begin in 2 days.
Well, while the country is still battling with clearing the ferry mishap, South Korea has announced an increase in activity at North Korea's nuclear test site, and this comes ahead of a visit by U.S. President Barack Obama to the region. A South Korean Defense Ministry spokesman said North Korea could be planning to hold a surprise nuclear test or just pretend to stage a nuclear test. Now, North Korea has carried out 3 nuclear tests in the past. Its most recent test was in February 2013, an incident that triggered several months of severe tension on the Korean peninsula. It also carried out tests in 2006 and in 2009. All of the tests, which were signposted well in advance, resulted in the imposition of UN sanctions on Pyongyang. Search teams combing the Indian Ocean for the missing Malaysian flight MH370 have suffered another setback as a tropical cyclone has halted the area search for the missing aircraft. Up to 10 military planes had been due to scour the surface of the Indian Ocean for evidence of flight MH370, but officials in Australia said Tropical Cyclone Jack had made the prospect of an air search potentially hazardous. The plane was carrying 239 people from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing when it disappeared in March. Authorities still do not know why the plane flew so far off course, and finding the plane's flight recorders is seen as key to understanding what happened. Using satellite data, officials have concluded that MH370 ended its journey in the southern Indian Ocean west of the Australian city of Perth. Almost 150 Japanese lawmakers have visited the Yasukuni Shrine in a move likely to further sour ties with regional neighbors. The controversial shrine commemorates Japan's war dead, including convicted war criminals from World War II. The visit, marking a spring festival, comes a day before U.S. President Barack Obama arrives in Tokyo. It also comes amid strained relations between Japan and its neighbors over geopolitical and historical tensions. Our Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was not among those who visited the shrine, but he sent a traditional offering on Monday. The Chinese Foreign Ministry denounced Mr. Abe's offering as a negative asset for Japan, saying that both it and visits by Japanese cabinet minister reflected the erroneous attitude towards history adopted by Japan's incumbent cabinet. South Korea's foreign ministry also said that Mr. Abe had romanticized Japanese colonialism and its war of aggression by paying tribute to the shrine. The police in the U.S. have shot and killed a man accused of robbery and assault in a Salt Lake City court after he launched a witness-given evidence. 25-year-old Cielan Gilao died in hospital after being shot several times by a U.S. Marshal in front of the jury at the new federal courthouse. Well, the FBI said he had rushed towards the witness with a pen in aggressive, threatening manner. Angelo was the last of 17 accused gang members tried as part of a 2010 case. The case included 20 counts, including assault, conspiracy, robbery, and weapons offenses. The witness on the stand at the time was not identified and was not injured.